my dad always told me that if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, then you're late. And if you're late, you're screwed. The reason I thought of this is because I got the quote, "He who hesitates is poor," by Zero Mazda. I'm going to be talking about several different things that you could be early to for good opportunities, like at the airport, or if you're at school answering questions, or even like having presentations. It's always good to be early to get all the good opportunities. You know. At the airport, if you show up early, obviously you get a good seat. You know, you could relax before you get on the flight or something like that. If you're at school answering questions, you never know if like you'd actually be right or like get a good prize or something like that, and obviously get a good grade. And then at work, you know, making a presentation, you could get some good kudos points or something, some brownie points for being early, or you never know if you have a good presentation or something like that. I always thought it's always good to be early, have a good opportunity. Doing that refrigerator thing. I can't think of anything else.
Oh, don't bring that back. You keep that. That's your souvenir for the day.
Did you get the evaluation sheet that you wanted to do?
Yeah.
Well, how about your little group thing? Do that again? See, I did much better the second time around with my group than I did when I went over there. I don't like it sounding like that.
Get there.
We get 3 different books?
Yeah.
Hopefully all 3 of them are reading.
All right, Nicholas, I thought that you started off really well. You got a great, little saying from your dad that you're going to start with. And in fact, I thought at first maybe that was the way you were going to structure the speech. You were going to talk about each one of those points and give an illustration about those kinds of things. You transitioned to the topic pretty clearly, and your point of view is fine. When you did preview the contents, that was also very clear. So, everything in the opening, was set up pretty well. Once you got to the content, you didn't know what to say about each of those points. You just mentioned it, described what you thought it might involve, but that was about as far as it went. You have a story about running late to the airport, missing a plane, having to sit in the middle seat. Is there some time when you got on the plane and you really wish you'd gone to the bathroom before you'd gotten on the plane because having to go in after that person who went before you was completely disgusting? Not being able to do something at school. I mean, anything that, fills in those examples a little bit. You're going to kick yourself because you're going to think of all those stories here in the next 15 minutes, and they're going to pop into your head. I always tell people you give a better speech in the car on the way home than you do in class, because everybody thinks, oh, I could have said that, I could have said that, I could have said that, and it'll occur to you. So you had a structure, you had a good intro, you had a structure set up, but there was no execution on that material. And then you got stuck. You got to that point where you said, I've run out of things to say, and you can't finish gracefully. That's what you need to do. Say, so, having said that, let me just go back to the point, you need to be on time for things, and that would be a much more graceful exit than, I can't think of anything else, and you sit down like, like you're uncomfortable. On the presentation, your voice is okay, but it drops out whenever you're uncertain. You just kind of drop the level quite a bit, and so you're not getting much control out of that. You have that big obvious pause there at the end when you run out of things to say. You've got your hand in your pockets most of the time when you're speaking, and it just looks awkward. You look uncomfortable. Your facial expressions, you're only partially engaged with the audience. You do look at us occasionally, but you frequently are looking at that card. One of the problems is, and this is, I think I mentioned it to people last week, you cannot write a speech in 5 minutes, word for word. So what you have to do is just think big ideas. And when you start writing things down, did I tell you about refrigerator disease? That's kind of what you've got. You keep looking, what's the next thing I'm going to talk about? You have to just think about what you would say in a conversation instead of trying to keep looking at that page hoping something's going to appear for you. You stood in one spot, you were doing okay, you don't really look comfortable and confident, but you're not overdoing it. There's not anxiety coming out from you in all of those particular places. All right, thank you. What are you giving that to me for?
Well, got it.
I don't want it back.
Okay. Ever?
No, I don't ever want to see it again. Thank you.
Oh, for the present.
It's your souvenir for the day. All right, Francisco, could you come get a topic and then